Hey guys, it's Cody with Taking 20, and welcome to my Roll20 Storm King's Thunder module review and walkthrough. Wow, what a mouthful. So I have finally decided to pull the trigger, and I dropped $50 and picked up the Storm King's Thunder module available on Roll20 to use because I'm actually running this game now every week on my Twitch on Wednesdays. So if you guys are interested in that, you can check out the Twitch. But I finally had a chance to kind of sit down and play around with it a little bit, and I really wanted to make this video because I know there's a few videos out there already on this topic, but I didn't really feel like as a potential consumer of this product that they were very clear in exactly what I was going to get. And I know that there's a lot of confusion out there with what's actually inside the module when you buy it. And thus this video where I'm going to show you guys exactly what you would get with this module if you decide to sit down and run this game on Roll20. So that's what this video is going to be about today. I hope you're ready. Let's get started. Okay, so the first thing I want to show you, because I get asked this question a lot through my Roll20 Master Series, is how to actually turn on the campaign, how to use it once you purchase it. And to do that, what you're going to do is you're going to go up here to Games, and you're going to go over here to your Start New Game. Click on that, and that will take you into here. Now, over here on the right-hand side, you can see where it has optional Choose a Module, and you can see they have all these modules available. If you didn't know this, if you hover over the modules, you'll actually see all the modules available in your cart. So if you haven't purchased this, you can see that the little cart pops up. But if you have purchased this module, you'll see a nice little check mark. So go ahead and click on that. And as soon as you do, it'll load in the module. And you can name it whatever you want. So let's just name this Storm King's Thunder Roll20 vid. How about that? And you can tag it however you want. And then down here, you have the option of choosing the character sheet available for your game. Now, by default, they have the 5th edition OGL sheet, and this is completely compatible with the built-in compendium. Now, you can actually change this sheet. So once you have this loaded in, go ahead over here and hit this I'm ready, create game. And once you create it, it will start to load in your game. Wow, okay, now that we're loaded in, you will see that by default you're going to load into this nice little splash page that they've created. But let's take a look here. Let's start with the pages and kind of take a look to see what all we're going to get. And the one thing you're going to notice is there are a lot of pages here. And I'm not going to go through each one, but I am going to show you a few, kind of the different maps and stuff and the different pages available that are going to be kind of loaded in with this module. The first page we have here is the splash page that we're on, and that's what the players will load into by default. And the second page here is really, really interesting. Let me go ahead and shift over here real quick. This is the token sheet. Now, you're going to see a lot of tokens here that they have created. And these are all different monsters that they have built into the game and statted in. That's a lot. Now, the cool thing with this partnership with Roll20 and Wizards of the Coast is that I believe that Wizards has provided them with some like really, really clean artwork for them to use in order to create these tokens. So you have a lot of these tokens that have kind of been isolated, and that I believe the creator, I don't know this for fact, I really doubt that Wizards is the one that went in and created these tokens. I firmly believe it's the individual that set this up. But they provided Roll20, in essence, a lot of really great artwork to use, and the Roll20 team has gone in and created all of these tokens for you to use. Now, the cool thing about these tokens is they're all attached to character sheets here, and I just want to quickly kind of glance over some of these. A lot of these are duplicates, so like obviously Fire Elemental, Cloud Giant. We have a Cloud Giant here, which is the kind of standard default Cloud Giant, but also down here in the named guys, we have some more giants. So there's a named Cloud Giant, and you can see the kind of NPC token, the kind of named NPC token that they've created versus the standard ones up top. And the cool thing about this is all of these tokens are completely savable. They're completely savable. So if you have been using my monster manual and that I have shown you guys in the Roll20 Master Series, you can actually go back into those sheets, use your character vault, and kind of pluck these pictures and these tokens and use those in your other games, or even back into this game with all of your macros completely set up. So don't think that if you've been doing the Roll20 Master Series monster manual that all this is going to make all that useless. In fact, it's quite the opposite. In order to use these tokens, all you need to do is click on the token, hit the Z button. As soon as you see hit Z, this big picture, this beautiful token will pop up. Right click, save image as, and you can go in and save these PNGs anywhere you want on your desktop and reload them back in. Go back over to your token for the monster manual with all the macros and abilities you've set up already, with all the token actions across. Swap out the pictures, and boom, you have all of these nice, pretty images available for those monsters already ready to go. Okay, so let's slide over here to Nightstone. So as you can see, this map is huge, and as with the tokens here, all of the assets in this game are totally and completely usable. So as you can see, I can click on this map, and I can hit this little Z button. It'll pop this up again. It'll look kind of small, but if you decide to save this image as, you'll actually realize this image is quite massive. I think it was like 3,000 pixels by 5,000 pixels or something. It was really, really large. So if you're using this in a different format, or you want to print this out even, you can do so. All right, so let's look at the dynamic lighting that they have set up here. All right, so we have this little section here at the bottom, which is the side view. They have not isolated this from the players. So if your players are on the map and you have daylight activated, they can scroll down here and see this. Let's zoom in here a little bit on the dynamic lighting. Okay, I'm going to kind of quickly just show you guys how they've set this up. It looks really good here. Most of the stuff is done quite well. Over here, you will see the interior of some of these buildings and the dynamic lighting that they've set up for those as well. They have actually gone back in and added some walls here, and I believe removed walls when this thing first came out from the boulder. So as a quick aside, you guys can update your actual campaign. You can update it. There's a little update feature that they offer for this, and I think it's kind of exploratory for them at this moment as they try to figure out how to go back in and change things once they've released a module to us. But it was updatable for any of the assets you have not changed. Okay, so there's kind of how they've set up some of these maps. They've isolated each one of these, so if you place your player, right here in a doorway, they wouldn't be able to see the other rooms and other areas. The doors they've placed in red. The doors are, I guess, okay to grab. I wish they would have made them a little bit thicker and even put the flags on them like I showed you guys in my dynamic lighting tips video. But for the most part, very well done as far as the lighting goes. Okay, now let's take a look at the tokens themselves. So each of these tokens is set up so that they have their health and armor class kind of right on them, which is kind of nice. They're placed in different layers with a few different notes here. They have gone in because this little section is to the Dripping Caves. With one of the things they went in with the update is they took that off of the map. They basically pulled it off the map so that as it's a separate asset and reloaded it onto a different layer so that only the Dungeon Master can see this. However, your players can see to the Ardite Forest. That's probably pretty common knowledge for the players, and they could probably see maybe even the forest. And then down here as well to the Tradeway, which is the road that they came in on, the way that the players enter into this map. That is visible to them, so they can see that. All of the kind of location tags are on the GM layer. They've created some beautiful kind of nice little tokens here. I have my own set I've created, but these are great. If you didn't go back in and take the time to create these, and you want to save these, go ahead and hit Z, save as, reload it up, put it in put it in its own folder on your art library, and there you go. You've got your own tokens to take to another game. So that's pretty much kind of how these maps look. Let me show you one more real quick. I'm just going to show you these first two. So they've turned on the dynamic lighting here, and they have named each of the goblins just like they are in the adventure. That's really nice. Let's take a look at the dynamic lighting. Okay, the dynamic lighting here is a little more sloppy, not much, versus Nightstone. You see, like, they have this whole big section here so they can see part of this. They can see all this walls. They didn't take the time to go in and kind of eliminate out some of this. It's not as clean. It's okay. It's totally acceptable. It's totally playable. My players will probably be here either tonight or next week, so I don't anticipate any issues there. And one of the things I wanted to show you was how they have set up the townsfolk. So they've gone in and they've set up each of these individual townsfolk and named them all. Holy cow. That took probably a very long time. So if you pull one of these out, you can see this is Elise Delfrendel, and you can pull one out over here. Roland Ostra. There you go. So you can see they've named each individual one. Here's our here's our nice pretty Morak, which is kind of the guy who is going to be directing the PCs after this section. They've given him this nice beautiful token, which I think kind of starkly contrasts all the rest of the generic commoners that they have set up. Okay, and finally we have the map of the North, which they've loaded in so that if you want to give your players something that they can actually kind of move their tokens around, or you want to place an actual marker to help them keep track of where they are in the campaign, because the Storm King's Thunder is a very open, explorative kind of campaign. They've put a map in. It's kind of nice to use. Again, you can always save all of these assets. All right, now let's get into the meat and potatoes, the real interesting stuff. Let's take a look at wow, that's really zoomed far out. Let's take a look at the actual journal here. Okay, so the journal here, they have kind of set up the beginning of the book. That's basically what all this stuff is. And if you click on the introduction, I want you guys to see the hyperlinking that they've done. So if you have a physical copy of the book, you'll recognize a lot of this. And they have gone in and hyperlinked a lot of stuff. So just like I've shown you guys with linking handouts, they have done, in essence, the exact same thing, which is frankly what I expected them to do. Each one of these will link to a different city, or a different place, or even a different person, which is really, really nice. If you are running this on a book, you know, you got to flip back and forth and kind of balance everything. So the organization here is very, very good. All right. So the first thing you're going to see with all of these handouts up here are it's the book. So you have the introduction, then it goes into the factions, which is really nice. Again, if you want to take one of these photos and put them in a different game, right click, save image as, load it back in, and you can have your own Order of the Gauntlet page in a different game with this nice little image to present to your players or to yourself. Let me minimize that. They have the giant runes. There's a nice little photo for you. The 10 days and roll of the years. This is kind of nice. This was a nice little like sidebar in the actual book that they have set up here. Items in a giant's bag. They put the rollable table in here. They put the table there, but they also built the rollable table here as well, so that if you want to link to this, or if you know how to go in and set up your rollable tables like I've showed you in the Master Series, then you can go in and do that as well. All right, let's speed up a little bit. So after that, you start getting into Chapter 1. Now, Chapter 1 is broken into kind of the intro. It goes into Nightstone. Again, there's another map for you to pull up. Whoops, there you go. And then it will start going into the actual kind of Nightstone chapter in the book. This little section is readable text. That's how you know they've gone in and hit kind of the little quote function, create that. They have bolded things that need to be bolded, which is great. They have a good organization here. And then they also have hyperlinked back over to all the goblins and named characters in this as well. So I'm just going to kind of quickly flip through this so you can see how long this chapter is and how you might run this if you are actually running the module. Give you a quick idea. Okay. Then it goes into kind of the dripping caves, and you can see it has almost an identical setup, and that goes on for pretty much the whole book and how they've built this in. If you guys have purchased the Storm King's Thunder, then you'll know that Chapter 2 is massive. The way that they've set this up is they've put each of the 3 different kind of ways your characters can go into 3 different folders here. So you can see that Chapter 2 is basically broken down into each of these, which is really nice and convenient to run. So if your players go to Bryn Shander, you can just minimize the other 2, or better yet, archive them and make them go away. Now, Chapter 3 is massive, and I want to talk a little bit about Chapter 3 with the locations, because Chapter 3 in the book has all of the locations, and a lot of these are used for, it's the Forgotten Realms. So they've broken these down into a few different folders. Man, that's a lot. And so some of these are really informative. Some of these are great. They have a lot of hyperlinks and tell you a lot about them. And then some of these are very tiny and kind of insignificant, just like they are in the book. So take that into consideration when you see the stats and like 250 hours building into this and all of these handouts, and we have all of these cities. Well, this is what you get. This is the Turnstone Pass entry into the Roll20 module, because that's what information is available in the book. And yeah, it's in there. It's nice, but it's 1, 2, 3 sentences. It's 3 sentences. So, take that into consideration when you think that, you see and read that they have all of these cities built in and all these locations built in for the Forgotten Realms. Some of them are fantastic and they're great, and you can use them not just in this game, but also even in your other games where you can take this information and use it there. But some of them are very light, and there's not going to be a lot there. And if, getting all of these extra locations to use in your other games is really important to you, take this into consideration that it's not a ton of information on all of the locations. Okay, and this goes on for pretty much the rest of the actual book. I'm just going to kind of show you the different links here so that you guys can see them on the side in the video, exactly how they have organized them, so that even if you're organizing your own game, or if you're building in maybe one that they haven't been able to yet, like the Horde of the Dragon Queen, kind of see their organization here. All right, finally, let's go down to magic items. Okay, so this was interesting. This was a cool plus for me. I didn't expect this, and now that I have upped my subscription to the pro level sub, which is basically $10 a month, then I'm a little happy about this because I get the Transmogrifier, which lets me take any handout from any game and put it into any other game. So I'm going to take all these and put them in my master campaign. Some of these are just basic entries from the Dungeon Masters and Player's Handbook, wherever you see these. Obviously, some of them are from Storm King's Thunder. Some of these they've snagged the photos from, and again, I think that Wizards has provided them extra art. You're going to notice that all of these art pieces that have this nice, unified, attractive background here. And I'm going to show you how they did the monsters with that as well later, so you can see that. So some of these have, the pictures, and these are great if you want to show these to your players. You can show to players. It's not set to everybody, so boom, you hit show to all. Or you can always go back in, edit, and add to everybody's journal. Okay, so here are the magic items, and it's a lot of magic items that they built in. It's a lot. So, Potion of Healing, that's always a great one to have. Boom, you can show to all players. Put it in their own journals or whatever you want to do there. That way that everybody can go back and link back to this. That's nice. That's a good positive plus for this. Okay, so let's talk about monsters. If you are doing the monster manual, you won't have to do that much work if you already have some of these. Again, drag something out onto the field, click on it, hit Z, save the image as, load it back into your token, and your token's already set up. All you'll have to do is, as you go through each one of the maps, you'll just have to delete the token off and pull a new one out. If you're not using it with the monster manual, you can absolutely use it straight from the sheet, just like here. Then you go over here, you hit tail, it whispers it, everything there works just fine. I think that by not having the setup like we have the monster manual set up with all the token actions, you're going to be going, you know, from up here and pulling out handouts and going to your locations and reading and trying to scroll down here and find the monster. I mean, look how many monsters there are. You're going to be trying to find the right monster, click on it. Okay, that's the Yanti mouse in type 2. You go to the character sheet, and then I can click on fight, and it's a big mess there. I think it can slow you down a lot. It's definitely something that our monster manual system has over this module, and it's going to require probably a little bit of work on your part to kind of fix and set up. Okay, so that's NPCs. Now let's talk a little bit about some of the other handouts that they've created. So they've gone in and actually created handouts for you to show your players for these monsters. Now I'm going to show you a few here so that you can see something kind of interesting. You'll notice that, and I believe that Wizards has handed them this artwork that is kind of isolated so that they could go in and actually create these nice, pretty unified backgrounds. All of them look exactly the same with the background and this isolated image, which is straight from the Dungeon Master's Guide. So this is really unique. This is really nice. This is great for not only this game, but again, any other game that you might be playing in where you can take these pictures, save them, move them over to the other games, or if you're a pro level subscriber, just use the transmogrifier to pull them over to a master campaign or another game that you're running. Next up, we have the scenes, which I think is kind of a nice flavor. It's okay. I mean, these are basically just nice images from the book to kind of help the players, you know, just kind of set the mood, if you will. You'll notice our nice little dwarf guy here is actually the token image that they used for Morik. So this image is the one they used for Morik here. And they've just, you know, this is kind of a nice little touch. You can show this to players and kind of help set the mood. I think handouts like this are always a plus in your game. Why not use them if you have them? I don't think it necessarily justifies an extra cost to the game to get to that $50 price tag, but it is a nice little kind of plus for this game. Okay, so that will wrap up this video. Hopefully that will give you a little bit of a better idea on what you will actually get inside the module. Overall, I definitely think that this module is good. There's no doubt that it's good. I'm still obviously a little perturbed that I kind of felt forced into buying the module after already owning a physical copy of the book just to have access to some of the maps. But overall, there is no doubt that by purchasing this module, if you're going to run Storm King's Thunder on Roll20 or online, that this will definitely save you time. So my recommendation, if you guys should buy the module or just run it without all of this information, you know, I think it really kind of depends on how much you value your time. Some people, it will be a no-brainer. Others, you know, if budgets are tight, then maybe it's something that you don't need. It's a nice to have, but a lot of the combat in this particular book is easily runnable with just kind of story combat. If you need the maps or you don't need the maps, that's going to kind of be up to you and your group to have a better idea on what's the most important thing to you, and you'll just have to make a decision from that point. If this is your first time here and you love role-playing games as much as I do, I'd love to have you subscribe. I'll be putting out new videos every week on DM tips, player tips, product reviews, tutorials, and more. So if that sounds like something you'd be interested in, just hit the subscribe button down below and come join us. Thank you guys so much for watching. My name is Cody, and may your games be filled with awesome memories and even better friends. I'll catch you guys next time.